Hi guys, my name is Haena. I'm the CEO of Beyond Classrooms and the Director of WildChina Education. They're both experiential education companies.
Hi, my name is Uyanga. I'm Managing Director at WildMongolia, which is a sister brand of WildChina. We're now in Mongolia having a really interesting conversation, so we thought we could maybe do this interview together, right?
Yeah. I think it would be cool to ask each other some questions and share some thoughts and insights about everything that makes us us.
Okay.
So we actually don't know the questions that we're going to be asking each other. We've written them separately. So we'll just see how
it's going to end.
Okay. So shall we play rock, paper, scissors to start?
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Winner starts.
I'm always the loser for this one. So.
Okay, so loser starts.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. That one's like Mongolian one.
What's this?
Well, we have like Mongolian traditional game. It's like all the fingers win each other, but this one wins this one wins this, and this one wins this one wins this.
Okay.
So.
Oh, let's do that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So we call it horot.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
So you recognize all the fingers.
What do you need to say?
Just 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Then nobody is not. Yeah.
Why?
Because I my finger was this and yours not related to.
Oh, not related.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
You win. Okay, I'm the loser. You say. Okay. So my first question is gonna be, I'm gonna ask about the background of yours because yesterday we of course we talked a bit about your background. So what was your personal journey to become today's Haena? And were there moments when you felt being an Asian woman either helped or hindered your path?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, obviously, my Asianness is a big part of who I am. Actually, when I was living in the US, I faced quite a lot of racism. In middle school, I was bullied really severely.
Wow.
And it led to...
So you've been living, like your childhood was like in Nepal?
Yeah.
In Philippines?
Yeah.
And
The
Korea,
US.
of course?
Yeah.
And the US?
Yeah, exactly. So those 4 countries are kind of where I grew up. And now I live in China.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that, well, first of all, I was always a foreigner because I was a Korean person living abroad in the Philippines or Nepal or the US. And even when I was in Korea, I speak Korean with a little bit of an accent. So people can tell that I'm not I don't live in Korea, right? So, but when I was living in the US, also when I was working in the US, I do have to say that I experienced quite a lot of racism. Especially in middle school, I faced really horrible bullying, like really bad. Like there was this one girl called Marnisha. Yeah,
What is that?
That's her name, Marnisha.
Okay.
Still remember her.
Okay.
She would walk past my desk, and then she would raise her hand to the whole class and be like, Miss Rogers, it smells like fish here.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
That's bad.
Yeah, and I think for me, it made me more resilient, I think, and it also really impressed the importance of cultural intelligence and cultural understanding to me. So and now through
At what
experience,
age did you experience that? Like
I was like 12.
Okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't just that. It was like
every day, right?
relentless
Yeah.
every day, every single day. So you know, but now I have the chance through experiential education to teach kids about cultural acceptance and
So, yeah, okay. Resilience.
yeah,
That, bullying and everything,
Yeah.
that hardship
yeah,
is going to make you
yeah.
very resilient, very patriotic. Yeah. Did you remember?
I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I never. Yeah, when I got older, I think I learned to accept, not accept, but just really. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of being Asian, and I'm proud of being a third culture kid. And nobody can tell me otherwise. Nobody can make me feel ashamed about it anymore. You know.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Cool. Good question.
Okay.
My turn. Okay, so now obviously you founded Wild Mongolia, and now you're growing the company. And
Okay.
what's the biggest difference between what you expected and the reality of running a company?
Okay, that's really good one, and I think our company right now is just 2 years old, like a toddler company. Only 5-6 people right now, including our part-timers. So I thought, like, to be honest, there weren't, like, I was like imagining not that much have to be, like have to found the company and how it will go. But I really want to just make Mongolia's tourism industry to become more, like smarter and more modern. Our especially in Mongolia, tourism sector is being considered as a quite traditional and conservative business. But when I'm coming to in this industry, I thought it's very difficult, very high EQ, necessary industry. That's what, like, people are, undervalue this industry, I guess. And from I came from IT industry, IT strategy, business consultancy industry. So I thought this industry is gonna be easier. Like, my first thought was like that, to be honest. But when I came to this industry and competing with these other Mongolian companies, not only Mongolian, like I'm representing Mongolian company to world, so I'm competing with other countries, right, to represent Mongolia. That was like global stage for me.
Yeah.
I never expected to just compete Mongolia to another destination like Nepal or Bhutan or something like that. So that was the biggest, like, challenge, and also like very good outcome that I'm doing this tourism industry.
Yeah.
So I'm truly believing that my company became international one that choosing just tourism industry, you know. So that was the most encouraging outcome that I'm experiencing right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So you didn't expect it to make you feel so
global, or
Yeah,
proud that I'm Mongolian.
Yeah.
Before this company, I was working in Japan.
Yeah.
So I wasn't that, like, I was proud about my Mongolia, but never thought I will just compete for my country. Like, that's like sportsman mentality in some sense.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah, it's quite great sense, feeling
Nice.
to be
I
in
really
this
love
industry.
that.
That's quite patriotic, I thought.
Yeah, and it's important, right?
Yeah, it's really important. And also, as a Mongolian, our tradition really lies on the nomadic tradition, right?
Right.
So it's the only, almost like only one country left, like keeping our tradition. And 1/3 population is still living in countryside, being a nomadic.
Yeah.
So as a tourism company, we really, like, I really want to keep this culture as long as possible.
Yeah.
So this tourism industry is quite important role player for that, you know, to keep that tradition as long as possible, because those nomads should be incentivized in some, you know, financial or other, you know, they need to feel their existence as an important role.
Yeah.
So I quite, you know, energized and also like quite inspired from that. I'm keeping, you know, our companies are always keeping this tradition as long as possible. Not just, you know, giving them money. We need a local service. We need to improve their, you know, what they do, and we need to show the world how Mongolians live, how nomads live.
Yeah. That's cool. I was expecting you to say something like negative, but that's so positive.
Okay.
No, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
That's amazing. That's great. Okay, your turn.
Okay. My next question is gonna be. Okay. But you look very modern, so about this question I'm hesitant to ask, but still I'm gonna ask you. How do you navigate the balance between traditional gender roles and modern leadership expectation? You know, like, we're women, so always like balancing life and balancing this leadership role, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I need to be very good daughter for our parents, especially for Asian parents.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult situation, and you have your partner right now. So how do you balance the time and everything?
I think I have to like kind of go back to my childhood. My mom. So my mom's in her 60s, and she was growing up in a very different Korea than the Korea of today.
Okay.
And her biggest chip on her shoulder, I would say, is that she felt like that society is very sexist. I mean, Korean society is a little bit sexist.
Okay.
And so my grandparents would, you know, encourage my uncles to study, but they didn't forbid my mom from studying at all. But, you know, with my mom and my aunt, it was more like, you know, be healthy. Like they didn't really push my mom to achieve a lot. But, you know, my mom has achieved really a lot, you know. She's been interviewed by TV, like she's quite well known in her field. And so when she had me, and I've had this conversation with my mom as well, like she really, really, really wanted to raise me without experiencing sexism. But kind of the opposite thing happened is where like in some ways my mom like pushed me so much to achieve, and like less my brother.
Less okay. That's also sexist.
Yeah, exactly. She kind of overcorrected a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think that thanks to my mom, I never really developed an internal sense of women need to be like this. If anything, I feel like women have to achieve a lot because of this, you know, generational it is also a generational effect of sexism, I think, but in a more positive way. But yeah, I really feel strongly about fighting against traditional gender roles, especially for men. My brother is a really sensitive guy, and I think that's one of his greatest positive attributes, his strengths, his, you know, very, very high EQ and feels things. And anyways, it's not good. Traditional gender roles have no place in modern leadership. I think men and women need to balance. We first of all, whether you're a man or you're a woman, like as a leader, you have an obligation and a responsibility to care about people's feelings and also know your own feelings, know how to manage yourself emotionally. So yeah, I don't think it has any place in the modern world of business.
That's really nice saying. That's true.
Yeah.
As a Mongolian, I really agree that, because Mongolian society, the people may be surprised, but women, like recent 20, 30 years after democratic, revolution, Mongolians' role changed like dramatically, because during Soviet era, I guess men, they were doing the main role to just get money and do works and everything. But after the democratic revolution, society changed completely. Their role, it becomes very brutal democratic era. And for example, my father lost his job. He was scientist, and scientists after democratic revolution, they don't have job. They have to secure some money to feed their family.
Right.
And all people, all the societal position were changed dramatically, and women at that change, men are not very resilient animals.
Yeah.
I would say, they got alcoholics. Our society, men face up losing their job and their position, status, and everything, and women need to feed their kids, right?
Yeah.
So it really shaped our economic and everything, and even in family structure, it has really drastically changed everything. And for my case, I'm 33, so my parents, my father experienced that one drastically. He lost permanent job, and he changed his career into do this almost like contraband business, importing something from China and selling in Russia or in Mongolia. All families were like that.
Yeah.
And science was, very good career for him. He loved what he did, but after democratic revolution, he lost his job, and of course his mental health and everything it influenced. And our society, Mongolian society, really, really drastically changed, and family roles and women and men role really changed. And after that time, women stand up, and of course, men fall off, and then woman has to face feed the kids and everything. And then for my eyes, women were very strong creatures, and then we really respect women from that time. So if you see Mongolian society, women tend to be very strong, even in family. So that really, Mongolian society, women role is not really traditional. We can feed our kid, as like men.
Yeah.
So we didn't really face that women and men like have to be different in traditional roles or something, because that change occurred drastically. So
Is it true that they're trying to make the Mongolian parliament 50-50, like 50% men, 50% women?
they're trying to, but still it's gonna take time. But of course I'm saying the society changed drastically, but of course tradition is gonna be like look like woman, has to be in family and serve the family, but still there's some gap. But Mongolia is in 30 years or in 20 years, it's gonna be very equal country for
That's great.
but, yeah.
And I guess like if you're a nomadic family, like everyone needs to work.
Yeah. As a agricultural society, man tends to be like stronger, and he has to work on the field. But as a nomad culture, we don't really have that distinguish the role. If man goes out for a war, women left in a gear and in a family, and she has to feed their kid and has to like do everything basically what men do. So our culturally we don't really distinguish men and women's role.
Like you were just showing me the video of the flirting, right?
Like that's quite
basically both the men and the women are on horses
and
and chasing each other and
try to beat them up, like
the woman's trying to beat the man up
because men tried to kiss the woman. It's a Kazakh culture where like few days before I went to Golden Eagle Festival, which is Kazakh culture, and they're nomads too, and how they flirt and in the old day was like very cute. If men tries to kiss the women, women wants to beat the women. That's like it's
interesting way of showing affection. Okay, my turn, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you go to really rural and truly wild places in Mongolia. What's the biggest difference or, challenge doing business in these places?
Okay, that's a nice question to ask because we really communicate with variety of people. I would say I work with global agencies, quite modern people, and also when I'm going to rustic places, even if I speak Mongolian, they don't really that much understand about the business, right? So so the interesting thing is we really need to see and respect their value. In that sense, they're people, so they're gonna sense everything. So we really need to understand what their purpose and what their value is. And if we just see them as a supplier or just someone doing the service, Mongolians are proud people. They really instantly feel something, and they don't really supply you good service. So we really have to see them as a partner, as an equal partner. And if you can do that, we can find the unique and authentic experience and extract them, extract value from them. And if not, Mongolian locals are quite proud, and they have their stock, like flocks and everything, right? They don't need our money. So, in that sense, business is quite different.
You can't eat money.
Yeah, that's true. So,
and it's not gonna keep you warm either.
So, of course, it's not just about locals, and any business will really need to see our suppliers to be an equal
Yeah.
partner. That's my learning when I'm working in this industry.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. I mean, people. I really think that basically most people, if not all, we're all the same.
Yeah.
We all feel the same things.
Yeah.
We just express things differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So my turn. Okay. What are the biggest barriers and challenges are you facing right now? Because your company is now like 40 something people, and in 3 years, it was like, drastically expanded and, growth.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's hard to say what the biggest challenge is right now. I feel like there is always like 500 things going wrong at the same time. But 500 things going wrong, 5,000 things going right.
Yeah.
I think scaling is quite difficult. There's growing pains. I think the toughest thing is the seasonality. Since our team works so hard, and school trips basically tend to happen during the same time in the year. So between March and June and September to October, essentially. And so, and the amount of work that goes into every program is immense. Like, you have everything from rooming lists. Rooming lists, room assignments for the students is really important. It's probably the most important thing.
Really?
For primary school students. Yeah, they want to know who they're going to spend
the night.
The week with.
Yeah.
So from that to purchasing the right insurance to making the safety checks, doing the audits, giving the parents presentations, like allaying any concerns that parents have. So yeah, I think the biggest challenge is just it goes from 0 to 1 very quickly. Like February, you can have kind of a 9 to 5 office day, and then suddenly March starts and everyone's working 12 plus hours a day. And keeping the team motivated, keeping the team mentally healthy. Tomorrow is World Mental Health Day. I mean, this is going to be released after that, but yeah, I think just keeping the team going and helping them, supporting them through the toughest periods, and making sure to hire people who do have that resilience, because I don't think the seasonality in our industry is ever going to go away. So sometimes you have passionate, young, bright people, but they can't handle the seasonality. In this case, they probably want to look into a different industry. But I mean, that's just the reality, right? So, yeah.
That's great. So, can I continue ask one more question? So, you're talking about like motivating your employees, like to continue to be like resilient during the turbulent times. So how do you motivate them? Like be on the field with them, or what's the key important thing to having a team?
First of all, I have a great management team.
Okay.
So Dan, who's our deputy director, is quite good at this, and you have Lena, Andy, Tom. They're all heads of department, and they're good managers of people. And I think everyone takes not every tactic works for everyone. It's not one size fits all. I think it starts with keeping yourself motivated, because people will feel it when you lose the motivation or you check out. So it's very important that you yourself don't check out. That's the first thing. And the second thing is to give people the space to talk about it. Like, it's completely fair and okay for a colleague to say, like, oof, like, oh, this week is killing me. Like, this week really sucks. And as leaders, we shouldn't take that like personally, Yeah, everyone can have a crappy week at work. Like, it doesn't matter what job you're in, right?
That's true.
So just allowing people to voice their, and their stress, and validating that. It's like, yeah, you're right. You had a tough week. Like, thank you, good job. And then the third thing is making sure that they know that the end is in sight. Like, June is always a brutal month for us. Yeah, we've done employee satisfaction surveys in June versus December. The results are literally like, I hate my job, I love my job.
That's interesting.
And in June it's like a countdown. Okay, like, we've only got 5 more programs to run, we've got 3 more programs to run, we've got last program, and then like, and making sure that people take their days off. A perk is that people accumulate so much overtime that in the off season they can go on longer holidays than most people. Yeah. So
it's the pleasure of being in seasonality business, right?
yeah. And teachers do the same. Teachers regularly work 12-plus-hour days. They go into prep their lessons. They're in helping with after-school activities,
and grades and
grading,
reports.
And then they take the summer off. So I think education, educators, we work our butts off.
Yeah, I really think so.
Yeah.
Okay. So
my turn, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's something that you feel everyone, but especially students, can learn from Mongolian culture?
Wow, great question. I was looking forward to that question almost. Okay. So the first, I think, Mongolia is quite rustic, and the nature and everything is quite pristine. It's untouched, and the culture is quite different from other countries. And having having them as, like, I'll tell you one example. Like, my boyfriend used to work in a Japanese company, and the Japanese company's boss had like one teenager. And of course, Japan is very modern and this developed country. And this country's kids tend to be very, I think, very shy or like introvert, especially Japan, I guess. And they're very far away from nature, how it feels like, nature bond and animal bond is like to have, right? And we as a human, our physical body needs bonding with the nature and sky and animals. I think that really shapes our internal human beings, energized and everything, and be a human, like as a human. It's the most important thing to have installed during the teenager or children time, at the young age. So that kid didn't really want to continue his school and also didn't really pursue any career and didn't really communicate with the mother and father. And of course, parents are worried why it's happening. But parents made the decision to send his kid alone to Mongolia, just with my boyfriend. And they thought nature can help it, animal and human bonding can help this kid. So it really helped. Like they sent out this kid for 5 to 7 days in a countryside family, and that family had like 4 or 5 younger children than this boy, and of course they don't speak Japanese, and they live together in small one gear, the round gear. That kid doesn't have any personal space, can you imagine? And of course, first 2-3 days, he's experiencing like very turbulent time, right? He sleeps with the nomads. So nobody can speak Japanese. And my boyfriend left him alone with this family. But of course, nomads are very welcoming people. They don't speak that much language, like even in Mongolian. Like they're just gonna serve you with the hot, warm milk tea. And that's their hospitality, giving food and making sure he's warm and, like healthy. That's all. That's our hospitality. It really hits your heart, I guess. And the kids are just playing together, and the mans play together with this boy. And the first 2 days, they don't have any comfortable toilet and everything, right? So this kid was crying in the first 2 days. And my boyfriend checked out him like 3 days later and secretly saying what he's doing. And he started to play with the kids and taking care of the younger ones, even without knowing their language, right? And in that sense, like bonding with someone really weird way, that really helped him to, see the world differently. Okay, humans are human. We can connect without knowing their language and tradition. And the care is care. It's same thing for him. And that kid really, like afterwards, what we discussed is this kid needs to feel his existence, need of, necessity for someone. And those children, younger nomad children, want to play with this kid and also taking care of this older brother, Japanese older brother. And they demand something, right? And that Japanese boy felt, okay, I'm necessary for their, for these children. At around this teenager time, I guess it's a very important lesson, very important feeling to have. I'm important person for someone else. And from this kind of interaction, Mongolia can teach kids, to be a human, to be a necessary human in this society, even without knowing their language. So that kid really drastically changed after this trip and continued to study and continued to work, like go to university. It really like 7 days experience, but that changed his life. So what's the, the key takeaway is like, human bonding. And you belong to something. And this rustic, environment gives you that sense of I live in a comfortable place. I have advantages, everything. This kid's gonna experience very different world that they're living right now. So they will appreciate what they have. Of course, like not comparing poor and rich, but it's like a feeling of, okay, I'm happy, lucky one.
Privileged.
It's privileged. And they need to help the others.
Yeah.
You know, like also they feel equality.
Yeah.
Equal, you know,
Yeah.
equality between the cultural diverse
Yeah.
situations. So it's a lot of things at this, you know, young age. They can learn from Mongolia, I guess.
Yeah.
Not only this nature and resilience and conservation.
Yeah.
It's about feeling, and it's about diversity,
Yeah.
understanding.
I love that. That's really good. I think a lot of young people need that. I think a lot of
not only students, like people should belong something.
Yeah.
And this belonging comes from this nature, and I guess very authentic people, from very authentic people.
Yeah.
The nomads, they're just calm and being human, right?
Yeah.
In this busy society, we tend to be very faced up, like masked up.
Yeah.
But these nomads, they don't know about this. Like they're being themselves.
Yeah.
So being with them makes you very teaches you a lot of things about life, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Last question. Describe Wild Mongolia 10 years from now.
Okay. That's the same question I want to ask you in the last.
Okay, so you do and I'll go.
Okay. In 10 years from now on, I think our company people should be happy, and also that happy people should give happiness to the world in a unique way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. And I really want to expand this culture, of course, like in a bigger way, but of course, like a KPI and this strategic goals. Wild Mongolia should be number one experiential luxury company in the industry.
Yeah.
When someone types Mongolia, it should appear in the front.
Yeah.
And it should be like someone's, okay, Wild Mongolia does the most unique experience in Mongolia.
Yeah.
We should be the number one choice for that field. That's our goal. But the second goal is internally, I want our company to be the most achieving and also most encouraging place to work in.
Yeah.
That's what I want, like internally and externally, most unique and nice company in Mongolia.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
I'm sure you'll get there. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, you've got the right mindset.
So what's
so for beyond classrooms, I think 10 years from now, I see us having multiple offices. Well, we already have multiple offices, but more bases around the world. I am really passionate about, well, I think 10 years from now, people will hopefully convince people to stop saying school trips and say experiential education, because I think a school trip is ultimately an educational tool, and you learn amazing things outside of the classroom. That's why we're called Beyond Classrooms. So yeah, 10 years from now, we're hopefully delivering experiential education programs correctly, you know, encouraging reflections, having life-changing learning moments with great safety standards all over the world. Yeah, just more of the same, but bigger and better.
That's great. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that. you.